There is a good chance the debut college football playoff rankings have a very different look than this week's USLBM coaches poll. That's because the two teams that top the coaches poll, Georgia and Michigan, could find themselves behind 1, 2 or even 3 teams come Tuesday night, when the selection committee convenes for the first of 6 times this season. The final rankings will be issued on deck 3. To start, Michigan has one of the most interesting resumes of any unbeaten team in playoff history. The scandal-mired Wolverines have bulldozed 8 opponents and resembled the most dominant team in the bowl subdivision. But they've done so against one of the weakest schedules in the Power 5, though that metric will be boosted by November games against Penn State and Ohio State. Where will the committee land on Michigan? Can the Buckeyes land at number 1 despite a series of closer-than-expected wins? The debut rankings will provide insight into how the committee views the best teams in the FBS and a roadmap for how these rankings may unfold during the final month plus of the year. Here's our prediction for Tuesday night's top 10. You can't dig into Georgia's argument for number 1 without recognizing the human element involved in the selection process. Can the committee consider the Bulldogs without taking into account the back-to-back national championships? Georgia may have looked beatable at times but has been at its best against the best teams on the schedule in Kentucky 51-13 and Florida 43-20. It's all about the strength of schedule. The Buckeyes' wins against Penn State and Notre Dame are unmatched among the Power 5 unbeatens, and represent 2 of 5 victories overall against opponents with a non-losing record. That OSU has struggled at times is something to consider, though, and could result in the Buckeyes landing at number 3 or no. 4. 6 of Florida State's 8 wins are against Power 5 teams with a non-losing record. LSU 6-2 Boston College 5-3 Clemson 4-4 Virginia Tech 4-4 Syracuse 4-4 and Duke 5-3. That might be enough to get the Seminoles ahead of OSU and maybe even Georgia, especially if the committee places high value on that season-opening win against the Tigers. The committee could decide to wade into the sign-stealing scandal that has become the biggest story in college football and discuss the cloud that currently hangs over the program. The group is still likely to praise Michigan's eye-opening play while questioning a schedule that simply doesn't stack up with the other undefeated contenders in the mix for the top 4. In a crowded grouping, that's the sort of obvious detail the committee has long used to differentiate among similar teams.